The slap echoed louder than the rain outside the diner, sharp and cruel, as if the world itself had cracked for just 1 second. Every fork froze mid-air, coffee cups stopped mid-sip, and the girl in the wheelchair, cheeks burning, eyes trembling, felt something inside her shatter that would never fully return to the way it was before. Before this story continues, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for the vulnerable, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support truly matters. The diner sat at the edge of a quiet highway town where people passed through but rarely stayed. It was one of those places that smelled of fried onions, old vinyl booths, and memories. The walls were decorated with faded photos of local football teams, forgotten beauty queens, and a cracked clock that always ran 5 minutes slow. Outside, rain slid down the windows like the town itself was trying to cry without being seen. Her name was Lena. She was 19 years old. Her legs had been paralyzed since the accident when she was 12, the night her father fell asleep at the wheel coming home from work. The car flipped. Her father didn't survive. Her mother never truly recovered. And Lena woke up in a hospital bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to move below her waist, learning that some things are taken from you before you even understand what they mean. She came to the diner every Thursday at the same time, after her physical therapy session, ordering the same grilled cheese, the same tomato soup, the same cup of warm milk with honey. It was the one routine that still made her feel like part of the world instead of something the world had passed over. That night, the group of bullies had already been drinking. They were loud, restless, desperate to prove something to each other. 3 boys and 1 girl, faces too young to already carry so much cruelty. They sat 2 booths away from Lena, whispering, snickering, glancing at her wheelchair like it was some kind of joke written just for them.
At first, it was only laughter. Then came the mocking. Then the question shouted across the diner about whether she could even feel anything. And finally, the slap. The girl who hit her was named Chelsea. She did it because the boys dared her, because the beer made her feel powerful, because cruelty feels easier when everyone else is laughing. Lena's head snapped sideways. The sound cut through the room. Her cheek burned. Her hands trembled. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stared at the table, trying to keep her heart from breaking out of her chest. No one moved. The waitress behind the counter looked away. The cook pretended not to see. The old couple in the corner studied their menu like it suddenly became the most important thing in the world. The door didn't open. The rain kept falling. The bullies laughed. They paid and left, their voices echoing into the night like the sound of something rotten. Lena sat there for a long time. She finished her soup even though it tasted like metal. She wheeled herself outside into the rain and waited for the bus that always came 15 minutes late. The town kept breathing like nothing had happened. That's how the world usually works when something terrible happens to someone it doesn't know. What no one in that diner understood was that the quiet highway outside would soon deliver something the town had never seen before. About an hour later, the ground began to tremble. It started as a distant growl, barely noticeable, like thunder far away. Then it grew louder, deeper, closer. Headlights pierced the rain. One by one, motorcycles rolled into the diner's parking lot, their engines rumbling with the weight of storms and stories and scars. There were 12 of them. Leather jackets dark with rain, boots heavy with the road, faces worn by time, grief, and survival. They didn't rush. They didn't shout. They parked slowly, deliberately, as if the night itself had made room for them. Inside, the door opened. The smell of rain and gasoline swept through the diner, and every conversation stopped. The man who entered first was tall, silver in his beard, eyes steady like he had already seen the worst the world could offer and lived through it anyway. On his jacket was a patch stitched with the words Iron Mercy Riders. They took a booth, ordered coffee, sat quietly, but they weren't there for coffee. One of the bikers, a woman with storm-gray hair braided down her back, noticed the red mark on Lena's cheek as she wheeled past on her way to the restroom. She noticed the way Lena's hands shook when she tried to wash her face. She noticed the way the girl stared at herself in the mirror, like she didn't recognize the person looking back. The biker followed her gaze, and something old and dangerous woke up inside her. She returned to the booth and whispered what she had seen. The room didn't explode. No one raised their voice. No threats were made. But something in the air shifted, the kind of shift that happens before a storm breaks. The bikers paid. They stood. They walked outside. Rain fell harder. The Bullies had not gone far. They were behind the gas station across the road, laughing, smoking, still riding the high of cruelty like it was a trophy. They never saw the riders approach. The confrontation was quiet, controlled, devastating. Not a single punch was thrown, not a single threat was spoken. But the Bullies left with their faces drained of color, their laughter gone, their hands shaking like they had just looked into something they weren't ready to understand. Whatever the bikers said, it stripped the arrogance from their bones. The riders returned to the diner, rain soaking their jackets, eyes calmer. The gray-haired woman approached Lena's table and gently placed a napkin in front of her. On it was written only this:
"You are not invisible." The bikers left, and the diner never felt the same again. Lena would later learn that the Iron Mercy Riders were a group of veterans, former first responders, people who had buried too many friends and seen too many people hurt by silence. They traveled the country doing quiet work that never made the news. But that night, Lena only knew that something inside her finally stopped breaking. Weeks passed. The town began to whisper. The Bullies stopped showing up. Chelsea transferred schools. One of the boys left town altogether. The diner became a place where people looked at each other longer, where silence felt heavier, where kindness returned in small, stubborn ways. Lena began volunteering at the library, reading to children who asked her about her wheelchair without fear or cruelty, only curiosity. She laughed more. She slept better. The scar inside her didn't vanish, but it softened around the edges. One afternoon, months later, a small envelope appeared in the diner mailbox. Inside was a photo of the Iron Mercy Riders parked beside a long highway sign that read simply, "Still riding, still watching." On the back, written in careful ink, "Keep going. The world is better with you in it." Lena cried when she read it. She cried for the girl she used to be. She cried for the people who never stepped in. She cried for the strangers who did. And for the first time since the accident, her tears felt like healing instead of loss. Just before this story ends, please leave a comment below with the word kindness if you believe this world can still change. Lena would go on to become a counselor for disabled teens, helping them navigate the same darkness she once carried alone. The diner still smells like onions and rain. The highway still hums, and sometimes, late at night, when the road is quiet and the sky is wide, the town swears they hear engines in the distance, steady and patient, like guardians moving through the dark. And if this story touched your heart even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps these stories reach the people who need them most. Because somewhere right now, someone is sitting in silence believing they are invisible. And maybe this story just proved them wrong.